You've just found my first video here. I'm so excited. Welcome to my channel. It would mean a lot to me if you subscribed. Thank you. This video is about how each zodiac sign can influence you in a relationship. Keep in mind that we are much more than our sun signs. This may not resonate with everyone as it depends on which planet is the strongest and most dominant in the chart of the person you have in mind. For instance, an Aries who has their ascendant moon and Mars in Virgo will certainly show up differently from an Aries who has a Leo rising and a Gemini moon. I suggest checking the Sun, Moon, Venus, and maybe the ascendant of anyone you have in mind if you know what they are. You may notice that their influence on you reflects a bit of all that's explained about each of those signs, though one may stand out more strongly. This could also be about you. It may confirm how you think you influence the people you are in close relationships with, or what you've been told about that. Also, you could be influenced positively, negatively, or in both ways. It depends on who you are dealing with and how evolved or unevolved they are. And something I mention as a negative may not actually be negative for you, depending on who you are and what you want out of life. Now that we've gotten these things out of the way, let's get down to business. Being in a close relationship with an Aries can increase your drive and confidence. You may find it easier to take initiative and go after the things you want. You may be influenced to do so by seeing them take bold actions towards the many things they find interesting, whether or not they see them through to the end. You may become more childlike and youthful, or at least loosen up your mind and become more accepting and delighted by childlike or youthful behavior. You may also have some of your first experiences of things or your first activities with them. Maybe your first hiking experience, your first road trip, your first game night, your first experience of being asked out by a woman if you're a man, or your first heated arguments with a close person. On the negative side, you may feel restless or impatient. Their impulsiveness may drain you if you are someone who is much more laid back than they are, or someone who is more interested in the longevity and the stability of things. You may feel challenged to do something groundbreaking, and if you're not someone who is really open to that, it might make you uncomfortable. Being in a close relationship with a Taurus can improve your sense of comfort, beauty, and stability. You may learn to lean more into pleasure and relaxation. You may want to increase your income in a way that allows you to invest in luxurious stuff and experiences. You may invest more in your appearance. On the negative side, you may become so attached to comfort that you become resistant to change, especially if that change does not come with an improvement in your way of living or your bank account. It could also be that you feel held back by their resistance to change. Yet the resistance can be direct or indirect. Being in a close relationship with a Gemini can sharpen your curiosity and push you to interact more with others. You may learn to express yourself more easily. You may also become more open to having fun. On the negative side, you may feel as though you are pushed to express yourself more than you are willing to, depending on who you are, of course. You may feel triggered or attacked by the unfiltered expression of their opinions, whether it's towards you or someone else. Depending on your personality, you may feel overwhelmed or overstimulated by experiencing their involvement and interaction with others. Being in a close relationship with a Cancer can improve your ability to nurture and connect with others on a personal and heartfelt level. You will feel like you gained a new family member, as they would want to be included in your very personal affairs, including meeting your relatives, and would also introduce you to theirs, if they like you, of course. You may learn to be more practical and involved in the lives of the people you care about. even if it's just by experiencing how involved they are with their own loved ones. On the negative side, depending on your personality, you may feel pressured to share every single detail about your life and to be part of other people's lives in ways you may not be so comfortable with. You may feel as though your boundaries are misunderstood or disregarded. You may also feel overly responsible for their big emotions. There may be an unspoken expectation to be as joyful or as sad as they are. Over time, you may find yourself feeling your feelings a lot more. This can be a good thing, depending on who you are. Being in a close relationship with a Leo can bring about a boost in your confidence and self-expression. You will be reminded of your strengths, how much you are worth, and all that you are capable of achieving. They'll hype you up, make you feel seen, and encourage you to take up space and express yourself more. You may also learn to be more romantic and generous with your resources. And on the negative side, you may feel challenged or even burdened by their high beliefs in your ability to be more, or their high expectations of you in general. Your natural ability to stand out and gain attention or admiration for how they carry themselves or for what they do may trigger your insecurities and competitive tendencies. Being in a close relationship with a Virgo can refine your habits and standards. You may learn to pay more attention to details. You may also learn to be more of service to others. You may find that you are more conscious and intentional about self-improvement. And on the negative side, you may feel overly self-conscious or overwhelmed by how self-conscious they are. You may also feel infantilized and criticized by how they try to micromanage you and how quick they are to jump in and save the day. You may feel like they do not trust your sense of judgment, and that can be annoying. Being in a close relationship with a Libra can improve your image and focus on the beautiful things of life. You may become more graceful, social, and balanced. And on the negative side, you may feel like you are expected to water down your expressions to maintain your gracefulness and to remain sweet or sociable. Depending on your personality, you may feel pressured to be more socially active and acceptable than you'd like. Being in a close relationship with a Scorpio can transform you. You will feel encouraged to open up more honestly and share yourself in ways that you may not have previously imagined possible. You will feel seen and accepted, even for the things you may not have fully accepted about yourself. You will feel emotionally comfortable and safe. You may have some of your first experiences with them. Unlike with an Aries, your first experiences with them might be more intimate, like your first visit to the dentist because they helped you to overcome your fear of doing that. It could be your first experience being shaved and bathed by someone. It could also be a bedroom experience, or you may get your first tattoo. And on the negative side, their desire to know you more than anyone else may awaken your trauma and insecurities. If you are both unable or unequipped to handle that appropriately, you may be consumed by that. You may become dependent on their acceptance and feel as though no one else will be that accepting of you. And that dependence could also create control issues or power struggles. Being in a close relationship with a Sagittarius can expand your mind and your whole life, literally. You may become more open to learning, exploring, and living more boldly. You may crave and possibly experience more growth and expansion. You'll be encouraged to speak and live your truth. You may also feel really supported to grow, financially and physically at least. On the negative side, if you are laid back and resistant to growth and expansion, you may feel challenged or overwhelmed. You may also experience their bluntness and you could become more blunt yourself over time. Depending on your personality, you may feel restless and unsafe with them. You may or may not be able to tell exactly why, but you may feel like there's just something. Being in a close relationship with a Capricorn can make you more ambitious, focused, and disciplined. You may become more mindful of your future and take your goals more seriously. You may also take on more responsibilities in some areas of your life. You may appear more grounded, serious, and mature, even in the way you dress. You may also feel encouraged and supported to achieve your goals. And on the negative side, you may feel like your way of living has become more predictable and a bit more serious. You may or may not like that, depending on who you are. It depends on what your priorities are, really. You may feel overwhelmed by their expectations of you to be more responsible and dutiful to yourself and maybe in your relationship together. Both of you being so focused on your ambitions can make you feel emotionally overlooked. You may become more conscious of time, your age, and all that you need to accomplish. You may have to really push them to create or engage in fun and exciting activities. Your spending may also be criticized and even controlled. If they do not consider it to be beneficial, especially in the long run, it will probably be seen as a waste or bad investment. Being in a close relationship with an Aquarius can broaden your perspective on things. You may be encouraged to become more accepting of your quirks and that of others. You may also become more socially aware and active. You may be pushed to become more self-reliant and independent. And on the negative side, you may feel disconnected from your deep feelings. You may also feel as though they always have your back, but only intellectually or practically, as though your feelings are intellectualized or trivialized. Depending on who you are, you may struggle with the fact that you have to share them with others, as though they prioritize everyone in their lives the same. You may also struggle to understand or accept their weird thoughts and ideas. Being in a close relationship with a Pisces can boost your optimism and imagination of what is possible. Seeing them tap into their optimism and imagination to make things happen for themselves may influence you to do the same. You may experience significant growth and expansion in your life. Your improved ability to connect with your imagination can enable you to become more creative. You may become more giving of yourself as well. On the negative side, you may be drawn into their toxic positivity. You may only imagine and believe in the best outcomes but feel disconnected from your reality in a way that prevents you from playing your part in the co-creating process of your imagination or your expectations. You may seem scattered. You may also be overly giving of yourself. You may waste time and resources chasing after unrealistic dreams. You may be drawn into different forms of escapism. It could be true knowledge, substance abuse, traveling, or something else. It doesn't always have to look like a bad thing or a vice. So that's it on this video on how each zodiac sign can influence you in a relationship. Let me know in the comments if it resonated with you. Let me know what your sign is. Let me know if it's about someone else. And if you liked it so much, send it to someone else in your life and let them let you know if it resonated with them. Until next time, I love you. Thank you for being here. Bye.